99.3 Nigeria Info Lagos. Good morning to you. Welcome to the second part of Dailies today here on the nation's first talk station. I'm Sheriff Quadry.
And I'm Jimi Disu. Good morning.
And we're live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube in case you'd like to watch us live on the social media. So you can go to our Facebook Live, our Facebook page, Nigeria Info FM 99.3, YouTube post Nigeria Info FM. Drop your comment as we go along. We'll try to take as much as we can. So let's start with our first story this morning. It's from the Punch newspaper. NUJ hails Uzodinma for sponsoring 20 journalists on pilgrimage.
I think it's all done. Nigeria is finished completely. It's bad enough that the NUJ has allowed its members, to be involved in something as profligate as this. But it's even worse that the NUJ, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, as a body of the media, is congratulating a governor for sponsoring 20 journalists on pilgrimage. If it had been, flip it around and let's say Uzodinma had decided to sponsor 20 members of his APC on pilgrimage, what would the journalists have said? It's very, very unfortunate. And it's a reflection of the kind of rot that we have in our society. This story, it took a while for me to decide to talk about it because it's like going after your own. But the truth has always to be said. This is bribery. That is what it is to me. What is the benefit of 20 journalists going on pilgrimage? Pilgrimage is a personal thing. In fact, I don't know whether they're Christians or Muslims, but even in Christianity, there's no pilgrimage. What you have is a visit of the holy sites. So if Uzodinma wants to help journalists, it should look for other means by which it should do it and not add them to what we consider a most irresponsible way of spending public funds. That's my take on that. And I know I'm taking a big risk doing this. My colleagues will come after me, especially the junior ones, but so be it. The truth has to be told. We have to repair this country. And we move on to the next story.
Let's move on to the next story. Daily Trust is where we are going. FG goes after certificate forgers. It's on the front page of Daily Trust.
The way I'm going to give the president some credit for these reforms that he's introducing. And this particular one is very, very important. And it says that the federal government has moved against certificate forgers. There's a directive to all ministries. Listen carefully if you work for government. All ministries, agencies, military and paramilitary formations to enforce mandatory verification of all academic credentials of staff members. So everybody who works for the government his certificates are going to be scrutinized. It doesn't talk about political office holders. It talks about civil servants in the first instance. When it gets to political office holders, whatever hurdles we meet on the way, we will find a way to surmount it. Okay? We found a way to surmount it. But what we are told now is it's going to be enforced to the letter. Whether public, private, civilian, or military, anybody, you must submit. Certificate forgery has become endemic. It's become a close to a large number of people banding. In fact, recently, it was said that one very famous lawyer who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, that his professorship is from a fake university.
Ooh. Yes.
We've avoided talking about it because, there's no proof or anything. But it was said, and this particular lawyer, I think, is involved in a case, some land case or house case or whatever it is, and claims to be a professor. And it is said that his professorship is from a non-existent university. So it's become endemic. A lot of go to the universities. Some of the lecturers, what do you mean lecturers? Go to the hospitals. Some of the doctors are fake. So this new reform that we are getting, thank God to the Tinubu administration, is going to help all along the line. I hope the same will also apply to political office holders. Why is that? I was interviewed by Femi Obongs Daniel inside here on this, and I said to him jokingly, I said a larger percent of our so-called elite or politicians or whatever cannot fill a form by themselves. They can't fill a two-page form. They will adjust their age. They will adjust their certificates. They will adjust their state of origins. That's why you hire people to fill forms for you to go to the embassy. I once asked a colleague of mine, what do you need a consultant for to help you fill a form to go to get a visa? Yeah, suppose it's there, name, next of kin, this, that, state of origin. You don't know what it is. You know, it's on the front page of the Daily Trust. That's the kind of seriousness that goes with this exercise. The Daily Trust says that Nigeria has long battled the scourge of forged academic credentials. Over the years, several high-profile figures, from lawmakers to ministers and academics, have been implicated in certificate scandals. Of course, they now remind us about, you remember we once had a speaker, some of you might have forgotten, in 1999, who claimed that he went to a University of Toronto. So I'm glad that this government is doing that, and they have all my support. I just hope that maybe part of the electoral reforms also would be to scrutinize carefully whatever people fill in their forms. Because if we did that, quite a number of our high-profile politicians would be sitting at home, or sitting at home, they'll probably end up in jail for perjury. So I'm glad that the government has set the tone for this. And it's a development we will continue to keep our eyes on. So if you work for the federal government, respect yourself. If you have submitted a result or whatever that is not yours, I don't know how you are going to do it. Or find a way to withdraw it. Find a way to withdraw it. It's many of our doctors, professors, this and that. The one that I couldn't quite make out is why, for example, a senior lawyer now go and add some kind of funny professorship to his title. It's part of what I said I want to discuss with Candidate Johnson on Saturday, and it's going to be in a series. I'm going to bring people who I think straight to ask ourselves what is wrong with us. It's part of the worry that I have.
That's a good question.
It's part of the worry that I have. This new thing where you want to be everything, you want to have all the titles, you need to know how much people pay, how much they lobby, kill self to get a chieftaincy title. For what? Okay, Sheriff, we have a long day ahead. So.
Yeah, you know what's worse, before we move on from this story, what I think is worse is, and I'm wondering what you say about government looking into it, is age falsification.
But it's part of it now.
Because this age falsification, I mean, look, people may have the right certificate and everything, but you see, age falsification
about
is
five
too rampant.
5 or 6 retired policemen, retired very senior officers, are on trial now. But I suspect that they'll be pointing the fingers inside again.
Yeah,
it's become, to be honest with you, Sheriff, it's almost become the norm. You ask somebody, how old are you? Officially. you can't officially. You ask your friend. You sometimes you have people that you know. Facebook is quite revealing.
Yeah.
They put their date of birth. You say, But I so because it's not just reforms. The reform that we need is the reform of the mindset. You know, values. A society without values is going to become a concrete jungle, and that is almost now. You find. Do you know how many parents pay handsomely for their students to write WAEC?
Right. You can say that again.
You know. So the question is, why are you sending? I know somebody who got admission to school, of course, couldn't do anything. Ended up becoming a young man. Ended up becoming a cult member and wasted his life. He couldn't cope. He said he wanted to read banking and finance.
That's all.
We'll pass maths. They've bought maths. Anyway, let's go to the next.
Oh boy, sorry. Let's go to our next story. Vanguard, page 7. Oscar Ibrew dies at 67 as Owerri others mourn.
Skido, it's sad. He wasn't my friend, but he was a friend to loads of my friends. And of course, he went to Ibrew College. The story had it that Skido died yesterday, Oscar Ibrew. The details were not available. He's been described as the first son of Michael Ibrew. He wasn't the first son. The first son was the one who was my classmate, Onome.
Oh, okay.
Onome died, I think, when he was in Ife. I went to school with Onome. Onome is his elder brother. But he fit into the shoes very, very well, and he made his mark. It's sad. My condolences go to Ibrew College, old boys, his home people in Delta, Femi Oshilaja, Dubi Mevere, all friends of his that I know. His soul rest in peace. He died yesterday at the age of 67. Now, the Ibrews have contributed a lot to development. They are not just a rich family. There are some families that are rich. They just have cash all over. They have money to throw around. You don't know what they are doing. We remember the days of Shoko Yokoto, Eja Ibrew. They were the first set of people way back in the 60s to sell frozen fish. Shoko Yokoto. Remember, I think they were the Guardian newspapers is from the Ibrew stock. It's a very good family, and Oscar will be greatly missed. He will be greatly missed. May his good soul rest in peace.
Yes, indeed. Let's go to the next story here, still in the Vanguard newspaper, this time on page 8. The story reads, FG raises alarm over fake AI-generated advertisement of President Tinubu.
The FG should not raise a fake alarm over generated advertisement alone. The government needs to look strongly into the issue of fake news surrounding in the first instance, the president himself, B, the government as a whole, and C, the general issue of fake businesses. You see, whether you like it or not, I have said it, there has to be some element of control in the social media. It is so bad. Let me tell you, it's so bad that on this job now, unless I see something in print, this NUJ story, I didn't see it in print. You want to ask Sheriff the wahala we did looking for it online this morning. Because you don't know anymore. It's made that very difficult, and it's also made people's reactions to things very difficult. So I'd like to call on the government. This is a very, very serious matter. Peter Obi was complaining in one news item. There was a news report that Peter Obi had a meeting with President Trump.
Yeah.
Someone
put that out.
Yes, he complained about that. There's another news somebody put out that he had a meeting with MC Oluomo. There's all kinds of things going around, and I think the federal government should put a very, very tight and strong hold on the issue of fake news, especially as it concerns the president. This particular one, in this advertisement, it falsely claims to promote a Ponzi scheme. The Ponzi scheme, and of course it was false, and it was an advertisement. So let the government be very resolute to put a stop to these things and stop embarrassing the general public with fake news. Because we've had one or two here. Luckily, I'm somebody who quickly apologizes if I know that it's wrong. I have one or two slips that were made here, and I've come back to say that, look, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was what it was. Some of them are so convincing, believe you me. So convincing.
Let's go to The Punch. This one is a column by Abimbola Adelakun.
My babe.
And so we confront another Wike impasse.
Yes. Very intelligent. I like intelligent women. Very intelligent. She writes every week. Sometimes I read it. Try and read her every week. Some of the things he writes sometimes I might not want to mention on radio for obvious reasons, because it can be very
Blunt,
it can be very blunt, almost to a fault. But the way it sounds when you read it, the way it looks when you read it, is different from the way it sounds on radio. Anyway, she talks about what the president now has, what he has, what are called an wiki impasse or a wiki challenge. And she's referring to wiki. She's referring to, she said that in addition to every challenge that undermines his reputation as an official, he now also has a wiki problem. Like the economy and security, wiki is a problem that will just not let up and has in fact become an impasse. That is the president. The wiki impasse is that juncture where we are confronted with multiple allegations of corruption by public officers. Remember, Wike was asked about his Rolls Royce. He said, so what? He was asked about 2 houses I think he had. He said, oh, they belong to his family. The latest one very fine hotel, 250,000 naira a night, which he said, according to the news that I saw, he said his wife's family gave his children. We have the Abuja land and so many other things. And so it says the weekend part is that juncture where we are confronted with multiple allegations of corruption by public officers, as well as this infuriating realization that none of our so-called democratic institutions has the moral backbone, nor will ever grow the necessary spine to demand accountability. It is a familiar impasse, one that we have not only learned to live with, but also developed a vocabulary and attitude to defend. When it comes to making a president look gutless, oh my God, no other cabinet officer in recent years has come close to the noisome FCT minister, Wike. He is garrulous, brash, and entirely vulgar. He frequently constitutes himself with a nuisance and lacks a modicum of propriety. The way he regularly flirts between TV stations, where indulgent media anchors interview him, to the times he addresses press conference, gives him away as an entirely unserious person. What manner of public officer has the time to be cackling all over the place like this guy? Why is he spilling his guts just like a witch and so on and so forth? It also talks about his personal conduct. Like we, of course, all of us have. I'd like to appeal to the media also to not.
You've always done that. Why?
Yes.
Why is it so difficult though?
Because the other way they gave him 2 hours.
It's always 2 hours.
A network gave there was another one gave him 2 hours in the evening to spill his guts. And the media, I think the media have a responsibility to guide these things that happen. I don't think it's just a case of catch and carry. I think there's some element of morality and standards that should be brought into this exercise. I have said it before. Wike is going to be one of the factors that will make or break President Tinubu. And one of these days, the president will realize it. And one thing I know about President Tinubu is that he can tolerate all kinds of things. But the one that will stop his march back to Aso Rock in 2027, he will not tolerate.
Okay.
Let me also add that some of the people that I know, top guns in APC, themselves are not even happy about Wike. How do you as a public officer, for instance, drive a Rolls Royce in public? And you are asked and you say, and so what? And you say your father was the general manager of several companies. What is the salary of a general manager? He didn't say director. He didn't say the owner. And how can you be a general manager of several companies? You know, and then that word, and so what? I think the president should have taken it as a challenge. But we'll see which way it goes. Find time to read this. This is at the back of the Punch. And so we confront another Wike impasse. But I think his time will soon be up.
Okay, all right. We'll wait and see. Let's go take Nigeria News Direct story here on page 5. Tinubu summons former Rivers Administrator Ibas to Aso Rock.
Ibas, to use the words of my friends from Delta, he fall my hand. You were appointed. You are not the first. Oluni has been appointed. So many other persons have been appointed to fill the position that you did. You are supposed to keep at least some principle, in principle and on paper, to keep a state steady for 6 months. You made it look as if you were given a fresh appointment. Maybe appointed new commissioners, did this, that. Now the House of Assembly told you to come to account. You say, no, you're not accountable to anybody. Anyway, the president has summoned him. Like I told you, anybody that is going to be a clog in the wheels of the president getting his... he will not, the president cannot incur the wrath of the Rivers people. So for him to have invited him with the... at the meeting also was the head of the EFCC and the Minister for Finance. It tells me something. The optics tells me something. The story here says that Ibas arrived at about 5:30, dressed in his traditional brown attire. I don't know why the newspaper is bothering us about what he wore. He was accompanied by the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, and EFCC Chairman, Olukayode. Now, I found this quite interesting. Sources report that Edu initially entered the villa alone, but left and returned carrying a file, signaling the gravity of the meeting. For the president to have said, Wale, go and bring me this file. And he went file and came back. The president time is, if you know what it is, the president's 1 minute is a lot.
It's a lot.
So to wait for Wale Edu to go and bring a file, and he didn't send somebody for the file, he went to bring it. With the EFCC man in tow, then something is about to go on.
Well, another people have said, sorry to butt, another people have said that if the president had wanted something concrete to be done, he didn't have to call a meeting. He just wanted to have sent Olukoyede as EFCC.
It's not a particularly good way to do it.
Yeah.
I would have expected the president to say, will you go and give account? It's the people's money.
Yes.
It's not the president's money. It's not Ibas's money. It's the people's money. And the members of the House of Assembly are representatives of the people.
That's right.
How can you say you cannot give account? You can only give account to the president. Does the president have own the money? No. You have to give account to the people. But if you do not give account to the people, you will have to give account to the EFCC.
That's right.
I think that to be very honest, given his rank, I've been fairly disappointed with Ibas' performance and demeanor during this 6 month tenure. And it frightens me that a man who wears that kind of rank doesn't know what we consider the proper thing to do. Not just in this instance, in quite a number of instances. I find it very embarrassing. But, well, in the days of these new directive by the federal government, there might be a repair on things like this.
Yeah. Yeah. People will not understand. Let's take our last story. Our last story is back home here. Tinubu others storm Ibadan tomorrow. City goes agog for Ladoja's coronation. This is in the Vanguard.
Yes, it's a sign of the times that the president is going for Ladoja's coronation. Remember that Atiku has a very good hold in the Ibadan area of politics. Because Atiku here, on the same day that the president says he's going for Ladoja's coronation, Atiku says that I'll protect Yoruba's interests if elected president. And goes on to say that even his first wife is Yoruba now, so or what it is. So it's all politics. It's and it's good. It's a very good development, at least for political watchers. They'll have something to gossip.
Yes,
I'll
indeed.
talk about.
Yes, we have to go now. We really must go now. What's coming up at 9?
We are looking at earpiece. We must make that airline succeed. We are looking at earpiece. A critical look at it.
Okay, that's fine. It's okay. Lagos, thank you, sir, for coming.
Yeah.
Lagos, thank you for being a part of the show. But don't go anywhere. Kofi is back with the remaining hour in the morning crossfire. Stay here with us on Nigeria Info 99.3.
Oh, what did they happen now? No bonus for all my line. No panic, as MTN don't carry better gist come. Every 6 minutes you talk, MTN go dash you 3 extra minutes. Fiam to enter MTN better gist. Dial *123 *2 *1.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.